Hi, it's Darren Rouse here from ProBlogger. I don't know if you've ever had an experience like this, but I was at a party recently and I met this new guy, introduced myself, he introduced himself. I asked him a question about what he did, what he likes to do, and he talked for a few minutes about his work and some of the hobbies that he had. And I was sort of sitting there waiting for him to, perhaps reciprocate with a question back, and he just continued to talk. He started by answering my question, and he just sort of rambled on, and it was almost like he was having a conversation with himself. I didn't really need to ask too many more questions after the initial one. He just seemed to have this amazing ability to just have a conversation, and it was almost as if I was a bit superfluous. I didn't really need to be there at all. And as most things do, it got me thinking about blogging and about sometimes you go to a blog and it's almost as if the reader just, they're an afterthought. They don't really need to be there at all. There's no real acknowledgement of the reader being there. And particularly, I guess, for me, it comes down to questions. What I find is the more questions that I ask in my blog, the more my readers seem to feel that empowered to be a part of the conversation and to be a part of the journey of the blog. And so, I was on the way home from the party, and I just began to think about, some of the types of questions that you can ask your readers to build this interactivity, to build this this respect for the people that you're writing for. And I jotted down, on my iPhone, a few of them in the notes. Asking readers questions like this, often we say, at the end of a post, we'll say something like, what do you think? And what do you think is actually a good question to ask people, because as you're writing, people are thinking things, and so to ask them gives them permission to get some of the stuff that's going on in their head out. So what do you think is a good question to ask in a blog post? But there's others, what do you feel? A lot of people are thinkers, and then there's other people who are feelers predominantly, and it comes down, I guess, partly to personality type. But asking the question, what do you feel, will actually connect with a different group of people to asking them, what do you think? You may not always ask both questions, but it's good to mix them in from time to time. What will you do as a result of this post? This is particularly useful if you're writing a post that's sort of a how-to or a tutorial. What are you going to do with this information? Actually asking your readers to put into words the action that they're going to take as a result of reading your post or having thought about what you've just written is really good, because it actually helps to bed down the lessons that they're learning into their actual action, into their lives, and that can really help as a persuasive technique, but also as a learning technique if you want to actually teach your readers something. What's your opinion? Again, this sometimes overlaps with what do you feel and what do you think, because your opinion sometimes comes as a result of that, but actually giving people permission to share not only what they think, but their opinion. Sometimes people are quite reserved about expressing opinions because they're brought up to feel that expressing opinions is perhaps rude unless you're asked to do so. I know I was brought up that way. I was always told to kind of keep your opinions to yourself unless you were specifically asked for them. How will you react? What's your story? Is another good one. Stories are really powerful. We've talked about this on ProBlogger over the last few weeks about you as a blogger telling your story, but giving your readers permission to tell their story is very important as well. There's something very powerful about the telling and the hearing of stories. So actually giving your readers permission to share a story by asking them for one can be a really powerful thing. What is your experience? Similar, but perhaps a little bit different in that not everything that a reader will want to tell about their own experience is necessarily in the form of a story. So you might ask them for an example from their own lives. What's an example of what I'm talking about in your life? What have you been working on? People, spend so much time and energy doing things. So actually giving your readers permission to share some of what they're doing and what they've been working on. I find on Digital Photography School, when I have a post, and we do one of these most weekends where we give readers permission to share a photo that they've taken, it actually, quite often they'll be sharing these photos that they've really put a lot of time and energy and work into, and asking your readers to share this and giving them permission to show off what they've been doing is really a powerful thing, and readers seem to really engage with that. There's 7 or 8 different questions that you can ask your readers, and some of them will apply better to some blogs than others, but perhaps they're a slight alternative on, just what do you think at the end of your post, as a way of getting your readers to engage, to leave comments, and to feel like they're a part of your blog. Now, it would be crazy of me not to end this video post with a question. And really, I'd like to ask the question, what sort of questions do you ask your readers? Because these are the type of ones that I use on my blogs, but I'd like to know how you do this. Share your story, share your experiences, share some examples with a link or two. I'd love to hear what you've got to say on this. I'm Darren Rouse from ProBlogger, and I encourage you in your next post to ask your readers a question.